Hello students, today we are starting with the fertilization. Now see, the meaning of fertilization is fusion of male and female gamete. What we can write in definition? It is a fusion of male and female gametes. Okay? In case of plants, the fertilization was explained by scientist named as Strasburger in 1884. Okay, so he was the first person to explain the process of fertilization in case of plants. Now, fertilization can be explained in case of plants in the different events. Like number one event is pollen pistil interaction. Okay, now see what is this. Till now we have seen in case of pollination, that is transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. Okay, the pollen grains has already landed over the stigma. Now this is the duty of the stigma to identify whether the pollen is of its same species or not. Okay, for example, in case of animals, when the egg fuses with the sperm, okay, then the egg used to identify the sperm first and then only the process of fusion occur. But in case of plant, this ovule, that is egg is far away from the male gamete, okay, because pollen grain contains the male gamete and the ovary consists of the ovule which contain the female egg. So the male gamete is far away from the female gamete, and that's why this job is done with the help of stigma. Stigma secretes some chemical, and with the help of those it used to identify whether the pollen grain is of her own species or not. Or we can say that whether the pollen grain is compatible or not. If it is incompatible, then stigma will discard the pollen grain and there will be no fertilization. But if the pollen grain is of the same species, then what will happen? This, number one, what has happened? Identification. Okay. Identification of pollen grain by stigma. Okay, stigma we can also call it as a pistil. So this was the first. Now suppose the stigma has identified. What will happen after identification? There will be secretion. So second term will be secretion of nutrient from the stigma okay. Now what the stigma is going to secrete? Stigma will secrete sugar plus lipids plus resins. These chemicals are secreted by the stigma after identification of the pollen grain. Now the third step will be absorption of nutrient by the pollen grain. Clear? Now see what things has happened. At first, stigma, that is pistil, has identified the pollen grain. After identification, if the pollen grain is of the same kind, then there is a secretion, and what is secreted? That is sugar plus lipids and resins. After this, there will be absorption of the nutrient by the pollen grain. Now, let me draw the structure of stigma. I'll draw only this much, upper portion. Okay. Now, suppose this is the stigma. It has become too long. Suppose this is the stigma, and we all know that this is the epidermal layer of the stigma. I have already taught you it is a hollow stigma, hollow style. Okay. Now suppose the pollen grain has come here. Now we all know that pollen grain consists of the entyme as well as the exine. Okay. And then it contains germ pore. Now this is pollen grain. If it is a two-celled structure, this is vegetative, this is generative, and then it consists of the germ pore. Now see what will happen. After identification, this stigma will release a chemical like this. Okay. And this pollen grain will absorb the chemical through the germ pore. Till here we have seen. See, what will be the next step? Now, we all know that the pollen grain is consisting of the tight outermost covering that is called as the exine, and because of that the pollen grain cannot burst out because the exine will cover. It will protect the whole material of the pollen grain. Now what will happen if it will absorb? Then the size of the pollen grain will increase. Okay, and whatever is present inside that may try to come out. Clear? But the grain will not burst. The pollen grain will not burst because it is consisting of the outermost, the most resistant material that is called as the exine. Porosporulinin I have called sporulinin I have already taught you in the previous. Now see what will happen. This will start generating one tube-like structure. Okay, it will bulge out. The material that is absorbed in this, it will bulge out and tries to come out, and hence there is the formation of the pollen tube. Okay, now see what will happen. I am drawing here also. See, suppose each and every material is already present inside, it will try to come out with all the cytoplasm and the two nucleus that is present inside this, which is vegetative and generative. Okay. Now, to enter inside the stigma, it will secrete one chemical. Okay. And that chemical is called as cutinase. Cutinase is an enzyme. Okay. Now see what happened. This is pollen grain and this is the stigma. Pollen grain has sticked over here. Till the time stigma has released the chemical, and with the help of the chemical the size of the pollen grain has increased. If the size has increased, then something will come out with the help of a pollen tube. Okay, and along with this pollen grain will secrete a chemical, and that chemical is called as the cutinase. That is an enzyme. Okay, what this enzyme will do? This enzyme will rupture the outermost wall of the stigma that is made up of the cutin, and that's why the enzyme is called as the cutinase. Understood? So this is the stigma. The epidermal cells consist of a cutin chemical, cutin layer, and this cutin layer will be hydrolyzed by or ruptured by with the help of an enzyme called as the cutinase. Now, when the outermost layer will be ruptured, then very easily the pollen grains may enter. See, Suppose this wall has ruptured, and very easily the pollen grains may enter into this. Understood? After the release of enzyme called as the cutinase. Now, if the tube will come here, along with this, the generative as well as the vegetative nucleus will also move down. Now, see children, I have taught you that the pollen grain may be of 2-celled stage or 3-celled stage. In most of the angiosperms, they have the 2-celled stage. What happens in case of 2-celled stage? Both the nucleus, they will enter into the stigma through the pollen tube. Okay. After moving inside, one of the generative will divide and it will give 2 male gametes. Okay. That is, it will become 3-celled stage after entering into the stigma. But those pollen grains which are already 3-stage still, there is no division in that. But those which are 2-celled stage, in that the generative nucleus itself divides into one more male gamete when it enters into the stigma. So now what will happen? The next step, okay? After absorption, what we have seen, the 4th step will be after absorption, the 4th step will be germination of pollen tube. Okay. Pollen tube has germinated, see. Now, if only one pollen tube will germinate, then the condition is called as monocyphosis. Okay. Now see, because it consists of the many germ pores, so many pollen tubes may originate. Many pollen tubes, 2-3 pollen tubes can germinate. If only one pollen tube is germinating, that is the most common, then it is called as the monocyphonous. And if many pollen tubes are growing, then the condition is called as the polycyphonous. Clear? So keep this thing in mind. One mono and many pollen tubes are growing. The condition is called as the polycyphonous. Now there will be the growth of pollen tube. So till now we have seen the 4 points. Number 1 was identification of the pollen grain. Then secretion of the nutrient, and the nutrient is almost sugar plus raisins as well as the lipids. After secretion, the nutrient will be absorbed by the pollen grain. When the pollen grain will absorb nutrient, it will release the cutinase, and cutinase will remove the outermost wall, that is the cutine of the stigma, and germination of the pollen tube will occur. If one pollen tube is there, monocyphonous, and if many pollen tubes are growing, then that is called as the polycyphonous, but one will interact or one will enter into the stigma. Okay. Now see, the next is growth of the pollen tube. I will draw this figure again. Okay, see. What structures we have seen? We have seen this is the stigma. Okay. Pollen tube. Pollen grain, sorry. And it has developed a pollen tube. Okay. Now in the next step, what will happen? I am drawing only pollen grain like this. This is its exine. Okay. Now the growth is pollen tube, and the pollen tube is containing vegetative as well as the generative. It is 2-celled. Till now it is 2-celled. Now this generative will again divide by mitotic division. Okay. And when there is a mitotic division, it will give rise to 2 generative nucleus. So after one mitotic division, we will get two male gamete. Understood? Now, this male gamete will start growing. So, our next step is growth of pollen tube. In case of growth of pollen tube, let's see this. Okay, what I have told you. Now I will draw a little bit bigger stigma and style only. Okay, and ovary like this. Clear? We all know that ovary consists of an ovule. So I am drawing one anatropous. Okay, I have told you that this anatropous is the most common. Clear? Now see what happens. The pollen grain comes here. It has developed a pollen tube, and the pollen tube will move down. Along with this pollen tube, it will contain one vegetative and two generative male nucleus. Now, this vegetative will degenerate because the function of the vegetative is to provide nourishment to the pollen tube. After providing nourishment, this will degenerate. Okay, so now I am not drawing this. Now we have two male gamete. They will reach. Suppose it has reached till here. Now the style is hollow. Okay. What happens in case of the style that is solid? When we were discussing the structure of the female gametophyte, there I have told you the style can be of two types. One is hollow and another is solid. So this is the epidermal layer. Okay. Now see what happens in case of hollow style. What is this? Solid style. Now these are the cells. Okay. Tissues. And now see what happens. In this case, the pollen tube generate and through the intercellular spaces. If I draw it with this pen, it will become more clear. It will form, and with the help of interspaces, the pollen tube may enter into the embryo sac. Okay, this is the situation in case of solid style. But in case of hollow, it can directly come inside. In case of solid, because everything is squeezing, okay, it is coming under pressure because it is searching the place to enter inside the embryo sac. And so, if it is squeezing, then it might be possible that the male gametes, they may move up because it will squeeze. Okay, it will shrink itself and then only it will be able to come down. Because of that, the male gametes may move up. So to prevent the upward movement of the male gamete, it will contain, I am drawing it here, okay? It will contain a callose formation. Now see what I want to tell you. Suppose the male gamete comes here. In the next step, this male gamete will move and come to this place. Okay. Now it should not backflow. Just to prevent that backflow, there will be the callose formation. And this, because of this, it will prevent the backflow of the male gamete. Once again, the male gamete will move down. Suppose the new male gamete has come here. If it will come here, there is again a wall formed. That is callus. Once again the gametes moved here. There is a formation of the callus. Okay. So this is callus formation. And because of this callus formation, upward movement of the male gametophyte or male gamete will not occur. Backflow of the male gamete will not occur, and very easily and smoothly the male gamete will reach into the embryo sac. Okay, now we were here. See, I have drawn this pollen tube like this. It will enter here. Rather, I can draw it with this. What was it? It was our, okay. Now this is the pollen grain and this is the entry. Okay. Now see, the male gamete of this much size has come here. Structures are clear, I think so, na? This is our stigma, this is style, this is ovary, this is ovule, epidermal cells, pollen grains, pollen tube, and these two are male gametes. Okay, and this is egg. Now see what happens. The male gametes may have to enter here, or the pollen tube will enter into the ovule. Pollen tube can enter the ovule via three ways. Number one, it can enter through micropyle. Okay, what is this micropyle? That is, I am telling you that pollen tube enter through micropyle. Then the condition is called as porogamy. Clear? And if, now let me draw this. I am erasing this and drawing, okay? See what I have told you. This one, and this one. This is ovule. If the pollen tube is entered through micropyle, it is called as porogamy. It may be possible that the pollen tube may enter through the chaliceal end. Okay? It will be called as chalizogamy. And third situation, this pollen tube may enter through integuments. Then the condition is called as mesogamy. So there are three ways of the pollen grain to enter into the ovule. But the best and the most common is through the porogamy. Clear? That is the entry through the micropylar region. Now see, whether the pollen tube may enter either through the chaliza or through the integuments or through the micropyle. But every time after entering, the pollen tube will reach to the synergic cells and the egg cells first. Entry can be from any side, doesn't matter. But the entrance of the male gamete will always be from the micropylar region. Okay, so if it is coming inside through the chalizogamete, then also it has to reach till the micropyle so that the male gamete can come and fuse with the egg first. Now see the next condition. Okay. What we have seen till now, that is, now this is not required. Okay, so I am drawing it very small, not required. This is the ovary, suppose. I am drawing this bigger in size. Clear? Now see, this is one anatropous ovule. 1, 2 and 3. It should be thin so that we can have the required things here. I am drawing this. What we have already studied in this case, it consists of a bigger egg, okay, plus 2 synergids. In between we have seen 2 polar nuclei, and here the 3 antipodal cells. This is the situation that we have already seen in the development of the female gametophyte. Now the pollen tube has already entered through this region. Clear? Now the male gamete will enter into the embryo sac. Okay, and we have 2 male gamete. First, the first male gamete will enter, and then the second male gamete will enter, and then fertilization will occur. Okay, now see what happens. The synergid cells, they will degenerate because they have to give the space. And if I draw the structure of the ovule here, suppose if this is our egg cell and this is the synergid, then synergid consists of finger-like projection. It consists of finger-like projection called as filiform apparatus. Okay, now if the pollen tube will enter through this, then 2 of the synergids, any one from the 2 synergids, it will degenerate. One by one, both will degenerate. Now, suppose if it will degenerate here, then only filiform apparatus is left. This will also degenerate from here. Only filiform apparatus is left. This filiform apparatus will guide the male gamete to enter. Clear? So male gamete can enter into the embryo sac by the 2-3 regions. Number 1, they may enter between the egg and the filiform apparatus like this. Okay? Or from this side. Or the male gamete can also enter from the wall of the ovary and from the synergid cells. Understood what I want to tell you? That is, the male gametes has multiple space to enter into the embryo sac. Either they can enter between the egg and the synergid cells, or they may get enter from the ovary wall and the synergid cells. Clear? Now these synergids will degenerate and or that is they disappear, and the filiform apparatus, it will move and guide the male gamete to enter into the egg. Now suppose this male gamete has entered and here it will fuse. Clear? So what is the first step now? Fusion of male gamete with egg. Okay, now we know that male gamete is haploid, egg is also haploid, we have already studied, and they will form embryo, and the embryo is diploid. that is N plus N, it will form 2N, and this is embryo, and embryo is diploid. Okay, first step is done. Now, one more male gamete is there. Now, this is its turn to enter. This will also enter. Suppose it will also enter, and then it will fuse with two of the polar nuclei. Now, this is the polar nuclei. Okay, this is the male gamete. These will fuse, and then they will form endosperm. Okay, first it will form primary endosperm nucleus. So what it will form? It will form primary endosperm nucleus. That is also called as PEN, primary endosperm nucleus. So till here it is clear. That is, one male gamete has entered and it has fused with the egg. Okay, and then it forms the embryo. Embryo is diploid. Now other male gamete has entered. It has got two polar nuclei, and with one male gamete it will fuse to form primary endosperm nucleus, which will further develop to form the endosperm. Now what is this primary endosperm nucleus? We know that polar nuclei was also haploid. Okay, it was two polar nuclei, so two haploid nucleus were there. Along with this, one more male nuclei has entered. Getting me? This is the male gamete and this was the polar nuclei. All together they have formed 3N, triple haploid, and that's why this fusion is called as triple fusion. Understood? Because one male gamete has fused with two of the polar nuclei, and so it is called as the triple fusion. Now what is the term called at this place? When the fusion of male and female gamete has taken place, this is called as syngamy. Okay, fusion of male and female gamete to form the diploid zygote. Instead of writing embryo, we can write out the zygote, because zygote will give rise to the embryo. So, two haploid nucleus unites to form diploid, and that will give rise to the zygote, which further will give rise to the embryo and whatever we will see. Now, this process is called as the syngamy. Now, where the one male gamete has fused with the two polar nuclei, this will form primary endosperm nucleus, and it is called as the triple fusion, because it will form triploid. From the haploid directly it will form the triploid. Understood? And the two together, syngamy as well as the triple fusion together, is called as double fertilization. So we have got a term, double fertilization. The meaning of double fertilization is syngamy plus triple fusion. That is 2N plus 3N is called as double fertilization, which was given by S.G. Navashin in the year 1897. Okay, and S.G. Navashin has found out, or he has studied this double fertilization process in the family of Lilium and Fritolaria. So remember the two examples that S.G. Navashin has studied this in Lilium and Fritolaria, everything about the double fertilization. Okay, so this is all about the double fertilization. Now our next topic will be post fertilization.